Here we have the Honda Grom. Oh, I just smacked my head. Welcome to Track Rekord's YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd do something a little different now the garage is finished, show you the fleet and give you an idea of some of the projects that I've got coming up this summer. So without further ado, let's take a look at what we've got. Starting off with the Lotus Elise. This one doesn't need a lot doing to it. Just the regular maintenance, fluid change, check torque. I need to clean the air filter, which involves taking the rear wheel off and the inside of the wheel arch up here because the air filter is hidden up there. But this one is, I think it's got 40,000 miles on it and it's still going well. I think it's time to change the spark plugs because I don't think I've ever done it. I don't think I've ever taken the spark plugs out of this car. It just, it lives up to the reputation of having a bulletproof engine. That said, it'll probably blow up. But as you see, it's at the front of the line, which means it's out of the rotation for a while. Next up, we see the Beck fake Porsche, the 550 Spyder, which has the air-cooled Volkswagen engine in it. This one was in the rotation last week, so it's been shuffled up. This needs an oil change. Hasn't had an oil change in a while. And I've got an electronic ignition to add to that. And I also want to put a hydraulic clutch into it. The reason I want to put a hydraulic clutch in it is because I suffered the indignity of having a clutch cable snap. Fortunately, I was not far down the road when that happened. Next up, the Superformance S1. Number 53 of 56 ever made. This is the car that's in the rotation this week. Most people ask, is it a kit car? And the answer is no, it's actually factory built apart from having the engine in. And it's easiest if I just say it's a Lotus 7. I know it's not a Lotus 7, but that's more or less what it is and people have vaguely heard of those. So what does this one need? It's had an oil change recently. It's got a couple of leaks, one from the rear diff, so I really need to open up the diff and reseal that. And also one from the speedometer, where the speedometer cable attaches to the transmission. The red ignition light, the no charging light, seems to come on intermittently, but getting at I'm assuming it's a loose connection in the alternator, but getting to that is a real pain in the you-know-where. So maybe we'll be doing that. Over here we have the trusty Kona Electric. That needs absolutely nothing doing to it other than being plugged in. We still love it. But for the Kona, we are waiting for the other shoe to drop on the battery situation. We haven't had a recall notice for that, so presumably ours is one of the ones for which the battery is fine. Next comes on to the Spec Race Atom, and you will notice there's something missing. It had a very low speed shunt at the track which cracked the nose, so that's off for repair. And this car is actually for sale, and we'll be going to some lucky buyer. Here we have the Honda Grom. That needs an oil change, I think, probably. It's a Baja, that's the actual name of this scooter. Found this discarded in somebody's backyard. That needs an oil change. Also, I think the front wheel bearing needs doing. This is the first, oh, there's the nose cone for the Atom. Here is Track Rekord's company car, CTS-V. Absolutely fabulous car. This one has a bit of a problem. It overheated last summer, and the engine's got to come out. We're not sure if it's just a blown cylinder head or if the engine is toast. It still produces plenty of power and moves under its own steam. So that's the first major project this summer. I'm going to take the top off of the engine and see what it looks like. But I think it's given the length of time that it ran while overheating, I think it's going to need major work. So that is interesting. Looking forward to getting that back on the road. The trusty Triumph TR3A. This is another one that needs fluid changes, and it's got wonky steering. This car has had wonky steering ever since I first got it on the road. And I'm really in two minds about whether or not I keep it original and try to repair the peg. I think it's peg and cam steering. It's there's a lot of play in it. So I'm not sure whether to restore the original steering box, if that's possible, or to put in rack and pinion steering. The only trouble with rack and pinion steering, if you put that in, then the indicator in the middle does not work anymore. But given the fact that it doesn't really work very well now, that's probably not a big deal. Here we have the fabulous BMW M Coupe, which I have just changed the oil in. That's got a number of jobs to be done. The most pressing of which is it's got a major evap leak. It doesn't affect the running of the car, but every so often the check engine light comes on and I have to reset it, and it gives me, I think the code is P045, major evap leak, and that's probably going to give me a problem when I come around to getting emissions done. So sorting out the evap leak is the first thing, and I have a terrible feeling we're going to have to drop the gas tank to fix that. There's also a number of other projects that need doing on this. The headliner needs fixing. The seat bushings, that's a very common problem with the BMWs at this age. They wobble. And I've got new gear change bushings to put in there. There's a myriad of other things on this car as well, but nothing else is particularly pressing, but those are the main ones. And then upstairs, we've got the E36 Lemons car. This is our $500 racing car. It starts out as a $500 car, but by the time you've put all the safety equipment in, it costs a little bit more. So this is actually ready to race at the moment, apart from the fact it's making a funny noise in the back. We had to replace the differential and all the bearings. And ever since I've done that, whenever it turns left, it makes a funny noise. So I've got to take that to the track and figure that out. But that is a fun car. I nearly forgot this one. Of course, Mr. Westfield, the car I built when I retired. So this is it's another Lotus 7-esque car. This one is I built myself and has a Honda S2000 engine and gearbox in it. This one is home from the track because it has been used and abused, and so I'm going through it, and the latest thing I've found is a fuel leak under the car. But this one, generally just going to go through it, fluid change and checking all the nuts and bolts, retorquing everything, sorting out the gas leak, which is fairly straightforward under the car, and that one will be back out at the track. You can see here the results of the last person that took it out. I gave it a really hefty bang on a curb for the side impact bars, but they seem to be intact. Great car. Love that car. But that's not all. Missing from here, we have the two cars at the track. One is the E30 BMW, which is getting a new engine over the summer to give it a little bit more oomph and make it more competitive in races. Plus we have the newly acquired Radical SR3, which is our student car. That one just needs lots of regular maintenance to keep it on track. And then somewhere there is my Austin-Healey 3000, which has been subject to bodywork for the last 5 years. I'm going to track that down and we'll do a separate video on that. That's about it for today. That was just a quick look at the cars in the lair and what we're going to be doing with them over the summer. So I'll be doing videos as and when I can. We hope you enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to get the latest content. Leave your comments below and please hit that like button. And that's my phone going. You should always switch those off before you start doing one of these videos. Cheers.